So on this one, you can actually see the vein that would be going up into that adrenal gland right there. I'm going to take the kidney, I'm going to rotate it to the side so that I can see it kind of straight across just like this from up and down. I'm going to go to the scalpel. We see it's got the red color to it. And then I'm going to use the one that has a straight line just to make a little cut straight through the middle of the kidney so that we can see inside. You can use the other tool that we've been using as well too, but because the kidneys are like angled like this, you don't get like a real clear cut of it. So you have to kind of, this tends to work better. I would also suggest that when you're looking at it, use the high resolution model so that you can get some pretty good depth and detail when you're looking inside of it. Otherwise you get really pixelated views. So remember we said that if we had anything tagged out here, that would be the renal cortex. So everything there would be the cortex. There's other structures there. We have arteries or veins. The nephrons are in there. The cortical nephrons are in there. But none of those are important because they're not on our list. The next thing we had tagged was a renal pyramid. So remember yesterday when we looked at it, it looked a little more like a pyramid itself. It doesn't look as much like that here, but you can still see the similar shape. So number 2 is our renal pyramid. If we look at the very tip of a renal pyramid, this one's kind of a good one because you can start seeing it change colors through there, but you don't really see it stop. But let's say like right here at the tip of this guy, see there right at the very tip, that would be where the renal papilla is. So remember, we had the renal pyramid, looks just like this. And then at the very tip, we said that it was going to kind of change a little color, a little lighter color, and that's the renal papilla. And then we said each one of those renal papilla, we're going to have something that's going to kind of drain off of it, right? So we have the minor calyx right there draining an individual renal pyramid. So number 1, we can see the renal cortex. Number 2, we can see a renal pyramid. Number 3, we can see the renal papilla. Number 4 here is a minor calyx. Now we know it's a minor calyx because when we look at it, it's singular, right? It's only draining one spot. But as we look down here, we can actually see that there's actually a number of these all that have come together. So we can see that this one, and there's one over here, they've all kind of come together to this one area. So this area would be a major calyx. So wherever we see 2 or more minor calyxes come together, that would be a major calyx. Now those are going to feed into the renal pelvis. You can see it here, it's the renal pelvis. So all the major calyces are going to drain into the renal pelvis. We'll put a tag there, that'll be number 5. And then all of those are going to feed into this structure, which is the ureter. Not the artery, but the other structure, which is going to go down to the bottom. Now, in between each one of our renal pyramids, we saw yesterday that there's some tissue. That tissue is the renal column. So we can see the renal column right through there. We said that surrounding each one of the renal, or excuse me, one of the minor calyx would be the renal sinus. So surrounding that would be the renal sinus, but we don't really see that. I mean, technically we see it, but I can't really tag it because of space. Any questions about anything with the kidney? There were 8 structures. Cortex, pyramids, column.
The sinus thing?
The sinus, yeah, because I can't really tag that, so I guess that is an 8 thing. Maybe that's what I'm
Isn't
thinking.
there like something granule?
Well, there's a glomerulus, which is a portion of the nephron, but that's not on our list, so we don't have to worry
The only
about that.
thing you didn't have was hilum.
The hilum and the...
Oh, the hilum is the entry point. So again, just like the hilum of the lung, just like the hilum of the spleen, where these vessels enter into here, or where we have the ureter exiting or the vein exiting, that's the hilum. So maybe that's the last thing. Yeah, I think that's everything. Any questions about any of this before I minimize it? And I'm just going to minimize it. It'll still be up here if you want to take a picture of it in a minute.